Advanced apologies if the lighting drastically changes during this video. The sun can't seem to make up its mind whether it wants to be in or out. Also, I'm at a different location because I am dog sitting this adorable little muffin for my parents whilst they're away. Hey guys, it's Jamie, and today we're going to talk about something new that I haven't really talked about with you guys before. At least I don't think I have. So, you guys have probably realised that I talk about the fact that I'm trans a fair bit. And some of you will also know that I have a girlfriend. But something I've not really talked about on this channel at all, I don't think, are my past relationships and my sexual orientation and how I discovered my sexuality and everything like that. I've had what's felt like a fairly confusing ride with my sexual orientation over the years, ever since I was about 14. And it was never as clear cut to me as being trans was. So when I was around 14 or so, I went with the flow, identified as a straight female, and I had my first boyfriend. We held hands, kissed, hung out with friends, blah blah blah, but I always felt really uncomfortable about it, and I could never realise why. I always felt uncomfortable being coupley, and very soon after kind of deciding that we were together, I didn't really want to be in a relationship anymore. I think it was this, in part, along with some other things that happened around the same time, that made me realise that I wasn't just attracted to guys, and even made me question whether I was attracted to guys at all. I'm worried about the battery because I forgot a spare battery because I'm an idiot. I spent a long time thinking about my sexuality and everything like that from around the time I was 14 and I first started figuring things out, right up until I was nearly 16, and I still didn't feel like I made any real progress, to be honest. But what I was sure about is that I felt like I'd be more comfortable being in a relationship with a girl, and that I was more attracted to women than men. So when I was around 16, I kind of changed up my style a bit, and it was just before I figured out that like you could be trans, and basically I just started wearing clothes that I liked that were kind of typically more masculine. I got my hair cut shorter, and people kind of either sometimes read me as male, or they would always assume and label me as a lesbian. And I was still thinking about my sexual orientation, and I still knew that I was definitely more attracted to women than men. So when I was 16, first year of college, I came out as a lesbian. And I identified as such for a little bit of my time during college. But it was very shortly after coming out as such that I realised you could be trans. And I didn't have any confusion over my gender that I'd had over my sexuality. It was like when I knew you could be trans, I was like, oh my god, this explains everything. But my sexual orientation was still like, I think something I really struggled with in terms of my sexuality was identifying as a lesbian. It felt so wrong to me. It just didn't feel right. Like, it made me feel so uncomfortable in a way that I've never felt about being trans. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with being a lesbian at all, that's not what I'm saying. Just for me, it clearly wasn't the right thing. And there was a reason why I was feeling that way. I never felt like it was the right label for me. I never fully identified with it, I never felt comfortable with it, and I never really wanted to talk to people about it or be open about it. Between the time that I came out as a lesbian and I realised I was trans, I had one girlfriend. I just remember feeling just as uncomfortable and self-conscious in that relationship as I had been with the guy I'd been in a relationship a couple years previously. And part of this was being seen as being in a lesbian relationship. I'm really sorry about the lighting. This is terrible. And another part was that just anything physical to do with a relationship, not that much happened at all. It just made me feel really uncomfortable. So yeah, I was still left feeling confused, knowing that I was definitely more attracted to women and kind of just going with the flow that maybe I was just solely attracted to women, but at the same time, relationships with men and women didn't feel right. It was nearing the end of this relationship with my first girlfriend that I realised I was trans, and suddenly relationships and sexuality and kind of everything else in my life went on the back burner, and I didn't care. My focus was on this kind of new discovery about myself that was both a massive relief but also very scary. We broke up shortly after this, and I think I just took some time for myself and everything really started to make sense. The feelings I'd had weren't necessarily to do with the person I was in a relationship or the gender of the person I was in a relationship with, although in the nicest possible way, neither of those relationships had any longevity. But it was more to do with how I felt about myself and how other people perceived me in that relationship setting. It was being seen as female in a relationship that caused a lot of the problems, and anything physical was like pretty much a no-go because I just felt uncomfortable about my body. Yeah. I came out as trans to everybody in July/August 2011 and started living as male around the same time, and became a lot more comfortable with myself in a lot of different ways. There was obviously a long way to go. I hadn't started hormones or had any surgery or anything like that, but just even living as the correct gender made me feel more comfortable within myself. And basically what I did is when I came out as trans, because I've been identifying as lesbian and my friends knew that, my family knew that, I identified as a straight guy. And it's not something I ever really thought about, and I was comfortable with that. I knew I was attracted to women, and I got with my girlfriend, who I'm still with now, back in November 2011, and I don't want to be with anybody else but Shaba. I have no interest in exploring my sexuality, but I do think I never got the chance to do this at a time when I was like more comfortable with my body and my identity, but I really don't mind. So although I say I'm straight, I don't think it's as clear cut as that, but it's not something I want to label. I can find men attractive, but I don't have interest in pursuing that attraction. It's just the same as I find women attractive, but I have no interest in exploring relationships with other women because I'm with Shaba and she's the only person I want to be with. And when I say like attractions, Shaba and I talk very openly about whether we find somebody else attractive, like on TV or somebody we know, that kind of thing. We just have a chat about it. Not like every night or long conversations, just like in passing. I guess what I'd say is that I don't want to put any labels on it. I'm in a heterosexual relationship. That's all I'm ever gonna be in, or all I ever wanna be in, because I only ever wanna be with my girlfriend who I'm with now. But saying that, on the chance that Shaba and I did ever break up, which hopefully will never happen, I would be open to exploring my attractions. It's just not something I have any interest in whilst I'm in a relationship, obviously. My sexual orientation is Shaba. So yeah, I think that's everything. I'm really sorry if this was a bit rambly and confusing. I just felt like it was a topic I'd never talked about before, and because sexual orientation and gender identity are two completely separate things, I feel like it was a topic that maybe I should talk to you guys about and just explore. Let me know your guys' experiences. Follow me on social media. The links are in the description box below. Yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching. Much love, guys. Bye!